The rain had been falling for 3 days on Vera 9. Cold, silver drops washed the red soil clean, turning the alien colony into a mirror of lights and shadows. Inside a small, metal cabin near the edge of the human zone, Evan Carter sat alone, listening to the storm whisper against the walls. He had come to this world to fix machines, not hearts. But the silence of the colony made his own heart too loud. Every evening, the alarms echoed across the settlement, all humans inside by dusk. Keep doors sealed. Do not answer any calls or sounds after nightfall. It was the rule, and everyone followed it. Everyone except Evan. He had never believed in the local stories. They said that once every few years, one of the alien sisters, the Varians, entered what they called the heat. It wasn't just hunger or desire. It was madness, a fever of instincts that could kill both her and anyone near her. The elders warned, if she comes to your door, don't open it. No matter what voice you hear. That night, the power flickered. Evan worked by the soft blue light of his tool lamp, trying to repair a drone engine. Then, 3 soft knocks echoed on the metal door. He froze. The colony was empty. The alarms had already sounded hours ago. No one should be outside. Another knock. Softer. Sadder. And then, a whisper. Please, open. The voice didn't sound human. It trembled, weak but beautiful. Like a song sung through tears. Evan's heart beat faster. He remembered the warnings. The alien sister in heat roams when the moons are full. Her eyes burn, her skin glows, and her touch can kill. But the voice outside sounded hurt, desperate. He stood up slowly, every muscle tight. Who's there? He called. No answer. Just breathing. Shaky. Fragile. He reached for his door control, his hand hovered. One push, and the seal would open. Outside, lightning cracked. For a moment, he saw a faint silhouette through the glass, a tall, slim figure standing in the rain. Long hair glowed faintly under the stormlight. He swallowed hard. His mind screamed, don't open it. But his heart whispered, she's in pain. And Evan had never been good at walking away from pain. He pressed the door release. With a hiss, the door slid open, and the cold rain rushed in. A woman, no, not fully human, stood there, drenched. Her silver hair clung to her face, her skin pale and faintly luminous. Her eyes, golden, bright like molten glass, looked up at him. For a moment, neither spoke. The world was just rain and silence. Then she whispered, You shouldn't have opened the door. Her knees gave way. Evan caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin was burning, not like fever, but alive, as if energy flowed through her veins. He could feel the hum under her skin, pulsing with light. What happened to you? He asked, pulling her inside. She shook her head weakly. They warned you, didn't they? Her voice broke. I tried to stay away, but I can't control it anymore. Evan placed her on the small couch, wrapping her in a thermal blanket. He saw faint glowing veins running along her arms, blue and gold, moving like living light. Her breathing came in quick, painful gasps. He fetched water, but when he touched her hand, a spark jumped between them, tiny, but sharp enough to make him flinch. Her eyes opened again. You feel it too, she whispered. I don't know what this is, he said, confused. I just couldn't leave you out there. Her lips curved in a broken smile. You're either the kindest man alive, or the most foolish. Lightning flashed again outside. The storm grew louder, pounding on the metal roof like a heartbeat. Her gaze locked on him. I'm Lyria, she said softly. You may not survive this night, Evan Carter. Before he could answer, the power shut down completely. The room went black. Only her body still glowed, dim golden light outlining her shape. Evan stepped back, trying to breathe steady. Then, from somewhere far beyond the storm, a shriek echoed through the colony, deep and primal, like the cry of another creature searching for her. Lyrira's eyes widened. She's coming, she whispered, trembling. My sister, she can smell me here. Evan turned toward the door, still open to the wind and rain. He felt cold fear crawl down his spine. He moved to close it, but Lyrira's glowing hand reached out, grabbing his wrist. Her voice shook. Too late, she said, her golden eyes burning brighter. You already invited us in. And at that moment, lightning struck again, revealing another tall, shadowy figure approaching through the storm. The storm had quieted, but the air still buzzed with static. Inside Evan's cabin, the emergency lights flickered weakly, casting red shadows across the walls. Luriah lay motionless on the couch, wrapped in his blanket, glowing faintly like a fallen star. Evan stood by the door, staring at the drenched footprints that led inside. Outside, the wind carried a strange hum, almost like a voice whispering through the rain. He swallowed hard, trying to steady his breathing. "Who's out there?" he called into the darkness. No answer. Only a distant metallic sound, like armor scraping against wet stone. Evan shut the door tight, bolting it twice. His hands were shaking. He wasn't sure if it was fear or adrenaline. He turned back to the woman, the alien, now half-conscious on his couch. Her skin shimmered under the dim red light. Tiny patterns, like moving constellations, shifted beneath her skin. Her breathing was faster now, almost panicked. "Luriah," he said softly. "Who's coming?" Her eyes fluttered open, glowing golden, even in the dark. "My sister," she whispered. "She can feel my heat across miles." "Your sister?" Evan repeated. "What does she want?" Luriah looked up at him, her expression torn between pain and regret. "To kill me before I lose control." Before he could speak, the colony alarm blared, a deep, vibrating tone that shook the floor. "Warning! Containment breach. All humans remain indoors. All humans remain indoors." Evan cursed under his breath. He knew that voice. It was the colony's defense AI, it only activated during life-threatening events. He ran to the window. Through the rain, faint lights moved, the colony guards, wearing silver exosuits, scanning the streets with plasma rifles. They were searching for her. Luriah pushed herself up weakly. "They'll find me through the energy pulse. I can't hide it much longer." "You're in no condition to move," Evan said. She gave a faint, bitter smile. "You should have listened to your people. You should have ignored the knock." Evan stared at her, the faint glow of her skin reflecting in his eyes. "I couldn't just leave someone outside to die," he said quietly. Her eyes softened. "That's what makes your kind dangerous. You care even when you shouldn't." The door monitor flashed suddenly, movement detected. Evan froze. A metallic voice shouted from outside, "Open up. Human resident, open immediately. You're harboring a Class 7 heat source." Luriah's body tensed. "Don't open it," she whispered. "They'll kill me on sight. And maybe you too." Evan's mind raced. He could hand her over, survive, stay clean, stay human. Or he could protect her, and risk everything. He looked at her trembling form, her breathing uneven, skin glowing like molten gold veins. She looked fragile. But the power inside her was terrifying, ancient, alive. The pounding on the door grew louder. "Final warning, human. Step aside." Evan exhaled sharply. "There's a maintenance hatch under the floor," he said quickly. Luriah blinked, confused. "What?" He grabbed his tool wrench and pried open a metal panel near the generator. "Go. Hide there. It leads to the old tunnels." She hesitated. "You'd protect me, even now?" He looked straight at her. "I don't know who you are. I just know you were crying in the rain." Her eyes glistened, gold turning soft amber. For the first time, she looked almost human. She crawled into the hatch, the glow of her body fading into the dark below. The pounding stopped. The door slid open by force, sparks flying from the lock. 2 armored guards entered, weapons raised. "Human Evan Carter," one barked. "Where is the energy source?" Evan kept his face blank. "You mean the power surge? I had a drone explode." "Check my generator." The guards scanned the room. Their visors glowed blue as sensors swept across the cabin. One paused near the couch. Residual Varian energy detected. Evan's pulse hammered. "She's gone," he said quietly. "The storm carried her away." The guards exchanged a look. The taller one lowered his weapon slightly. "If she comes back, you'll die with her." When they left, Evan waited until the footsteps faded. Then he closed the door, sealing it again. The silence returned, heavy and alive. He knelt beside the open hatch. "It's safe," he whispered. A faint golden glow shimmered from below, like candlelight in water. Luriah emerged slowly, her face pale, hair damp, eyes filled with something between fear and gratitude. "You lied for me," she said softly. "Guess I'm just bad at following orders," he replied with a small smile. Her gaze lingered on him, as if studying his soul. "Humans," she murmured. "You never listen. That's what makes you so impossible and so beautiful." Evan blinked. "What?" But she only shook her head and whispered, "You've already chosen your fate, Evan Carter." Outside, thunder rumbled again, distant but powerful. Somewhere beyond the colony walls, another cry echoed through the night, a sound that made the glass tremble. Luriah's expression darkened. "She's close," she said. "And when she finds me, no door will be strong enough." Evan turned toward the window. The rain had stopped. But in the distance, under the twin moons, he saw a shadow moving across the hills, tall, glowing, and walking straight toward his cabin. The night grew too quiet. No wind. No rain. Only the faint hum of alien energy pulsing in the walls. Evan sat beside the couch, wiping the sweat from his forehead. Luriah was burning again, not from fever, but from something alive inside her veins. Her skin glowed brighter with every breath, gold light tracing along her neck like moving fire. "Luriah, talk to me," he said, voice shaking. Her eyes opened, glowing like twin suns. "You shouldn't be near me," she whispered. "The heat is growing. It's spreading through my core." "What does that mean?" "It means," she struggled to speak, "my body is rejecting this world. It needs balance." Evan frowned. "Balance? How?" Her lips trembled. "Through contact. Through emotion. My kind, we connect to survive it. Without it, I'll burn alive." She turned her face away, ashamed. "You humans call it desire. But for us, it's survival." Evan swallowed. The air around her was hot, not just warm, but alive. His tools on the table vibrated slightly, reacting to the field around her. The lights flickered. He took a cautious step back, trying to stay calm. "There must be another way." Luriah looked at him, her voice breaking. "You still don't understand, do you? My energy seeks yours. It found your heartbeat the moment you opened that door." Evan froze. Before he could answer, the floor shook. The colony alarm howled again, louder this time, almost screaming. Red light flashed through the cabin window. Luriah gasped. "She's here." Evan ran to the window, saw the figure approaching through the mist. The other sister. Taller. Brighter. Her glow was violent, crimson instead of gold. She walked like fire given shape. Luriah's body reacted instantly, her pulse racing, her light flickering faster. Her presence, it amplifies the heat. "I can't control it." Evan turned back to her. "Then let's get out of here." She shook her head, trembling. "If I leave the shielded zone, I'll explode. My energy will spread through the colony." He hesitated, his mind spinning. Every human instinct screamed run, but something stronger pulled him closer, her voice, her pain, her fear. He knelt beside her, placing his hand on her shoulder. Her skin burned like touching sunlight, but he didn't pull away. "You said my energy connects with yours. Then let me help you." Her eyes widened. "Evan, if you bond with me, you'll—" "I don't care," he said softly. "You're not dying in my house." The moment his hand touched her again, a shock of gold light filled the room. A pulse, silent but deep, rushed through the walls. Every screen, every machine, every circuit in the cabin flickered out. Their breaths synced, slow, heavy, trembling. Her glow softened from violent gold to warm amber. Her eyes searched his face, fear melting into wonder. "You grounded me," she whispered. "Your heartbeat, it's stabilizing the energy." Evan tried to speak but couldn't. The air between them shimmered, golden particles floating like dust in sunlight. For a brief second, it was peaceful. Then a thunderous bang shook the cabin door. "Open this door," shouted a metallic voice. "By order of the Varian Council." Lyraya's pupils shrank. No, she brought the guards. The door shuddered again, denting inward from the force. Evan grabbed his plasma wrench, his hands shaking. "You hide. I'll deal with them." She stared at him, disbelief in her eyes. "You'd fight for me? Against your own kind?" He gave a small, crooked smile. "I stopped counting who's my kind the day humans moved to alien soil." The door exploded inward. 2 armored soldiers stormed in, followed by the Crimson Sister. Her presence made the air burn. Lyraya screamed as her energy flared again, gold against crimson. The 2 forces collided, rippling the air like heat waves. The Crimson Sister's voice was cold and furious. "You've bonded with him?" Lyraya stood weakly, her aura flickering. "He saved me." "You polluted the bloodline," the sister snarled, raising her hand. Evan jumped in front of Lyraya. "Stop! She's dying." The sister's gaze snapped toward him. Her voice dropped to a growl. "Then you'll die with her, human." A beam of red light burst from her hand, pure energy roaring across the room. Evan dove forward, wrapping his arms around Lyraya. The beam hit the generator behind them, exploding in a flash of light. Smoke filled the room. The walls cracked. Sparks rained from the ceiling. When the dust settled, the Crimson Sister stood at the doorway, staring in disbelief. Lyraya was glowing brighter than ever, but the light wasn't wild, it was steady, calm. Evan was still holding her, alive but faintly glowing himself. The sister stepped back. "What have you done?" Lyraya whispered, her voice trembling but strong. "He didn't fight me, he shared the heat. It's balanced now. Human and Varian, one pulse." The sister's eyes widened, horrified. "That's impossible." Evan looked down at Lyraya, their hands still joined. The glow between them pulsed once, then twice, 2 hearts beating in rhythm. Lyraya smiled faintly. "You've changed me, human." Evan exhaled, his voice barely a whisper. "Then maybe it's time your people learned what change feels like." The Crimson Sister hissed, turning away. "You have no idea what you've started." She vanished into the mist, leaving the door shattered and the air heavy with energy. Evan looked around his half-destroyed home, the walls glowing with faint gold veins. Lyraya leaned weakly against him. "Now we're connected," she said softly. "If I burn, you burn too." He met her eyes, calm and defiant. "Then we better learn how to control the fire." Outside, the colony's sirens blared again, but this time, they weren't just warnings. They were alarms of something new being born. Morning never really came to Vera 9, only a dull orange glow that crept through the thick clouds. Evan woke to the low hum of the generator trying to restart, the smell of smoke still hanging in the air. The cabin was half destroyed, metal twisted and blackened, but he was alive. Beside him, Lyraya slept, her skin faintly glowing, her breathing finally steady. He sat quietly, just watching her. The storm had stopped. For the first time in days, there was silence. But it didn't feel safe, it felt like the silence before judgment. He touched the faint golden mark on his wrist, the same place her light had entered him the night before. It pulsed once, like a second heartbeat inside him. He didn't understand what they had done. He only knew one thing: they were connected now, body, energy, and fate. A sharp electronic tone broke the stillness. His communicator lit up, Colony Broadcast Priority 1. All human citizens are to report to safe zones immediately. A Class 7 energy contamination has been detected. The Council of Vera has issued a full quarantine order. The name, Evan Carter. Evan's stomach turned cold. They knew. He glanced at Lyraya. Her eyes opened slowly, golden light reflecting off the smoke. "They've marked you," she whispered. "You're no longer one of them." He laughed dryly. "Wasn't really one of them to begin with." Lyraya pushed herself up, wincing as she moved. "The bond changed you. You carry part of my energy now. If they capture you, they'll use you to study the link or destroy it." Her voice broke. "I won't let them." He reached out, steadying her trembling hands. "Then we run." but she shook her head. No. My people will track us by the bond. You can't hide from something inside your own blood. Evan frowned, thinking fast. Then we go where their sensors can't reach, the old tunnels under the refinery. They are shielded. Luriah stared at him in shock. You'd abandon your colony for me? He smiled faintly. You say that like I had a choice. Before she could answer, a metallic roar echoed outside. A ship, Varian patrol craft, descended through the fog. The ground shook as it landed near the cabin. Evan grabbed a satchel and stuffed it with tools, rations, and a water pack. Luriah stood weakly, her glow flickering. They'll kill you if they find you with me. He looked back at her. Then I guess I'll die in good company. They slipped out through the back exit, down into the narrow ravine behind the cabin. The air shimmered with static, the patrol scanners sweeping the area. Evan held Luriah close as they moved through the mist, her warmth against his cold skin like a living flame. Halfway down the ravine, a beam of red light cut across the rocks, the search drones. Luriah's eyes flared. They found us. Evan pulled her behind a broken wall. Stay low. The drone passed overhead. Evan threw a small EMP charge, one he'd built months ago from spare parts. It detonated silently. The drone sparked and crashed, vanishing into the fog. Luriah looked at him, astonished. You fight like a soldier. He shook his head. Just an engineer who got tired of fixing things other people broke. They reached the entrance to the underground tunnels, a rusted hatch buried beneath vines. Evan pried it open with his wrench. A wave of cold air rose from below. As they climbed down, Luriah hesitated. If we go underground, the bond will grow stronger. The interference will trap our energy together. Evan looked up at her, dirt streaking his face. Then we face it together. Inside the tunnels, the air was damp and glowing faintly with bioluminescent moss. They followed the narrow path until they reached a small chamber with old machines and cracked walls. Luriah sank to the ground, exhausted. I don't understand you, she said softly. Your kind destroys what it touches. But you save even when it hurts you. Evan knelt beside her. Maybe that's what makes us human. She stared at him for a long moment. Then, almost unconsciously, she reached out and pressed her hand against his chest, right where the golden pulse beat beneath his shirt. Her eyes softened. Your heart beats like mine now. For a moment, everything was still. No alarms, no soldiers, just the hum of two connected souls. Then the communicator in Evan's pocket buzzed again, a private transmission this time. He pulled it out. The screen flickered, showing a shadowed figure, the Varian High Matron. Evan Carter, her voice echoed, calm but cold. You have bonded with royal blood. That is a crime punishable by erasure. Bring her to us, and your death will be painless. Evan didn't answer. Luriah's eyes filled with fear. He crushed the communicator under his boot. We're done listening to orders. She looked at him, tears glimmering like liquid light. You're going to get yourself killed. He smiled gently. Maybe. But if I have to die proving that a human heart can match an alien one, then so be it. Outside, thunder rolled again, not from the sky this time, but from ships descending, ready for war. Luriah stood, gripping his hand tightly. You don't know what's coming. Evan looked into her glowing eyes. I never do. But somehow, I always survive it. They turned toward the end of the tunnel, light flickering ahead, footsteps echoing closer. The council had found them. Luriah's voice trembled. If they separate us now, the bond will break, and both of us could die. Evan squeezed her hand. Then we stay together. The golden light between their palms flared bright, brighter than any weapon, stronger than fear itself. Somewhere beyond the tunnel walls, the world held its breath. A human heart and an alien soul had just rewritten the rules of two worlds. The tunnels beneath Vera 9 stretched for miles, dark, cold, and alive with echoes from a forgotten war. Evan's footsteps were heavy, his breath sharp in the thin air. Behind him, Luriah moved slower now, her body still weakened from the heat that burned inside her veins. Every few steps, she stumbled, and every time, he caught her before she fell. Keep going, he whispered. We're almost there. Her golden eyes looked up at him, dim with exhaustion. You don't even know where there is. He smiled faintly. Doesn't matter. As long as it's away from the ones who want to cage you. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber, an ancient research station from the first human settlers. Broken machines lay scattered across the floor, covered in moss that glowed faintly blue. In the center stood a cracked observation dome, showing glimpses of the storming sky above. This place was built to study energy storms, Evan said, brushing dust off an old console. The shielding still works. They can't track us here. Luriah looked around in awe. This is human technology. Old, but still breathing, he said, tapping the screen. The generator hummed softly to life. For a moment, peace returned. Luriah sat on a metal crate, her hair shimmering faintly in the light. The bond between them pulsed quietly, a golden rhythm beneath their skin. She looked at him with sadness in her voice. You shouldn't have helped me, Evan Carter. My kind won't forgive you. And your kind will never take you back. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Then I guess I don't belong to either kind anymore. Her eyes softened. You sound proud of that. He shrugged. Maybe I am. Maybe being human means standing where no one else dares to stand. Before she could reply, the ground trembled. The dome lights flickered. Evan froze. They found us. Luriah's body stiffened, her golden aura flaring. No, that's not my people. From the shadows emerged armored silhouettes, human soldiers. Their rifles hummed, aimed straight at Evan. Hands up, Carter, one of them barked. Step away from the Varian. Evan raised his hands slowly. You don't understand. Shut up. You're infected. You've bonded with an alien. Orders are clear, containment or termination. Luriah stepped forward weakly. He's not infected. He's connected. I can prove it. A soldier fired. The plasma bolt hit the ground near her feet. Stay back, creature. Evan's anger snapped. You idiots. She's not your enemy. But the soldiers didn't listen. Their commander raised his hand. Fire on my mark. Luriah's voice trembled. They're going to kill you. Evan turned to her, calm and defiant. Then let them try. He grabbed the broken power conduit beside him and slammed it into the generator's core. A surge of light exploded outward, golden energy mixed with blue sparks. The entire chamber filled with glowing mist. The soldiers screamed as their sensors overloaded. Evan pulled Luriah behind a console. Run! They darted through the smoke, deeper into the tunnels. Behind them, gunfire echoed, flashes of blue light cutting through the fog. Luriah stumbled again, clutching her chest. The bond, it's draining you. Evan shook his head. Doesn't matter. I've got enough to get us out. They reached a lower exit that opened into an abandoned hangar, one last ship resting in the dust. Old. Rusted. But still humming faintly with dormant power. Evan stared at it. Think it can fly? Luriah smiled weakly. It was built for my people. It'll recognize me. She placed her glowing hand on the hull. The ship's lights flickered on, one by one, golden veins spreading across its surface. The door opened with a hiss. They climbed aboard, just as the soldiers reached the chamber entrance. Bullets and plasma bolts struck the hull, but the ship's energy shield deflected them like ripples in water. Inside, the cabin glowed softly. The controls lit up under Luriah's touch. Evan, she said quietly, once we leave orbit, both our species will mark us as traitors. He looked out the viewport at the colony far below, the world he had once called home. Good, he said. Maybe it's time someone made them both angry. The engines roared to life. The hangar roof cracked open, revealing the red sky. As the ship lifted, alarms wailed across the colony. From high above, Varian ships began to descend, elegant, shimmering, deadly. Luriah's face went pale. They've sent the Council fleet. Evan gripped the controls tighter. Then let's show them what defiance looks like. The ship shot upward, streaking through the storm. Plasma fire followed, blue and red beams cutting across the sky. One bolt grazed the wing, throwing sparks. The craft shook violently. Luriah closed her eyes, focusing. Her golden aura spread through the cockpit, merging with the ship systems. Energy flowed from her into the engines. Evan watched in awe as the speed doubled. "You're powering it with yourself." She nodded faintly. "I told you, my kind connects to survive. Now, we connect to fly." The ship broke through the upper clouds, leaving the red planet below. For a brief moment, the stars appeared, cold and endless. Evan looked at her, the woman who had changed everything. "You still think helping you was a mistake?" Luriah smiled faintly. "No. You reminded me what life feels like." But her smile faded when warning lights flashed on the console, multiple ships approaching fast. "The Council flagship," she whispered. "My sister's aboard." Evan's jaw tightened. "Then this ends today." Luriah's eyes glowed brighter. "You can't fight her, Evan. She'll destroy us both." He looked at her, voice steady. "Then we make a new choice. One neither of our species ever dared to make." He reached over, gripping her hand. Their light merged, gold and human warmth becoming one. Outside, the stars pulsed, as if the universe itself was watching. Two beings, one human, one alien, facing an empire together. Not as enemies, not as prey, but as proof that hearts, not blood, define the future. Space burned red outside their cockpit window. Lightning arced between ships, streaks of energy painting the black void in furious color. Evan Carter gripped the controls tightly, jaw set. The ship trembled under the force of the chase. Behind them, 6 Varian warcrafts followed, sleek, silver, moving like blades through airless silence. Beside him, Luriah sat pale and shaking, golden veins glowing beneath her skin. The bond between them pulsed erratically now, stronger, but unstable. Every heartbeat felt shared, every breath mirrored. "She's close," Luriah whispered, voice trembling. "My sister is leading them." Evan glanced at the radar. "How can you tell?" "Because I can feel her anger, it's burning through me." Suddenly, the comms cracked alive with a deep, cold voice, steady and regal. "Luriah of the Royal Line. You have dishonored your kind. Power down your ship and surrender the human. He will be erased. You may yet live." Luriah closed her eyes. The sound of her sister's voice made her whole body tense. "Evan," she said softly, "they'll fire soon. I can stop them, but it will burn through both of us." Evan looked at her. The glow under her skin was brighter now, golden light creeping up her neck. "You said the bond connects our energy. If you channel too much, I'll die," she finished quietly. "Yes." He stared into her eyes. "Then we find another way." But before he could think, a burst of plasma fire exploded near the ship, rocking it sideways. The alarm screamed. The hull temperature climbed fast. Evan fought to steady the ship. "We can't outrun them forever." Luriah stood, her bare feet glowing faintly on the metallic floor. "Then we stand." She walked toward the center of the cockpit, her hair lifting as energy gathered around her. Golden particles swirled in the air, calm, beautiful, terrifying. "Luriah, wait," he shouted. She turned her head slightly, smiling, that same small, defiant smile he'd fallen for without meaning to. "You said humans never stop when they care. Don't stop me now." She raised her hands. Her glow intensified, expanding until the small ship looked like a miniature sun against the void. The Varian ships opened fire. Plasma bolts struck the golden field, but instead of exploding, they dissolved, consumed by her energy. Evan shielded his face from the blinding light. "You're absorbing it." Her voice echoed through the ship, both human and alien at once. "I'm not absorbing it. I'm balancing it." But the power was too much. The glow turned unstable, pulsing violently. Evan ran forward, grabbing her shoulders. "You'll kill yourself." Her eyes flared open, golden tears sliding down her cheeks. "Then let me die protecting the only man who ever saw me as more than fire." He didn't let go. "If you burn, I burn too. Remember?" Their bond flared, brilliant gold wrapping them both. Outside, the fleet paused, scanners overwhelmed. The two energy signatures had merged, forming something the Varians had never seen before, a perfect balance between chaos and humanity. On the Council flagship, the Crimson Sister, radiant, terrible, rose from her throne. Her eyes blazed red. "Impossible," she hissed. "He's sinking with her." "Fire everything," she commanded. "Now!" The entire fleet unleashed a barrage, hundreds of plasma lances converging toward the tiny ship. Inside, alarm screamed. Systems failed. The hull began to melt. Evan pulled Lyria close, shielding her with his body. "Hold on." Her hands trembled as she pressed against his chest. "Evan, I can't contain it anymore." "Then let it go," he whispered. "Let's show them what humanity looks like when it refuses to break." Lyria screamed, not in fear, but in release. The bond detonated. A blinding sphere of golden-white light burst from the ship, expanding outward like a new sun. Every plasma bolt dissolved. Every enemy scanner went blind. The explosion didn't destroy, it rewrote. When the light faded, silence returned. The flagship drifted powerless. The other ships hung motionless in space, their systems fried but their crews unharmed. Inside the cockpit, smoke filled the air. Panels sparked. Evan slumped against the seat, breathing shallowly. His veins glowed faintly gold. Lyria knelt beside him, tears falling freely. "You stayed with me through the fire." He smiled weakly. "Guess I just like breaking rules." The comm crackled again. A softer voice now, the Crimson Sister, shaken. "Human, what have you done?" Evan's voice was faint but firm. "We showed you that connection isn't weakness. It's survival." For a moment, the line was quiet. Then the sister spoke again, voice lower, uncertain. "You changed her. You changed us." The call ended. Lyria pressed her forehead against his, her glow dimming. "You could have let me go." He closed his eyes. "Not my style." The stars outside shimmered faintly, brighter now, like the universe itself was watching this fragile miracle. She looked at him. "Evan Carter, what happens now?" He smiled tiredly. "Now, we go home." But as he said it, alarms blinked again, radiation surges, failing life support. The ship was dying. Lyria wrapped her arms around him, voice breaking. "You gave me life, and now it's taking yours." Evan's hand brushed her cheek. "Then promise me something. Anything. Make sure it meant something." She nodded, tears turning into streaks of light. "I'll make them remember you." The lights dimmed. The engines went silent. The small ship drifted, wrapped in a quiet, golden glow, like two souls sleeping between worlds. From the flagship, the Crimson Sister watched the drifting light. She whispered, almost reverent, "The human gave his life to calm the storm." And for the first time in Varian history, the Council lowered its weapons. The stars drifted quietly around the wreckage of the battle. Where once light had exploded like fire, now there was calm, a golden silence that seemed to breathe. 4 days, the damaged Varian fleet floated without signal, their weapons cold, their hearts shaken. The war that could have ended 2 worlds had stopped, because one human chose to open a door. On the flagship, High Matron Seraph, Lyria's sister, stood before her viewing window, watching a faint golden shimmer move slowly through space. It was the remains of Lyria's ship, still glowing with that same human light. She whispered, "He gave his life for you, for us." Her council stood silent. None dared to speak. Even in alien hearts, something ancient stirred, shame and awe. Far below, on the surface of Vera 9, weeks later, a ship descended through the red clouds, its engines quiet and respectful. Inside, Lyria sat alone, her once bright glow now soft and human-like. Her golden hair had dimmed, and her eyes, though still luminous, carried the sadness of loss and the strength of love. In her hands, she held a small device, a piece of Evan's communicator. It no longer worked, but she kept it like a heartbeat. When the ship landed near the ruins of his cabin, she stepped out. The air smelled of rain again. The same kind of rain that had fallen the night they met. The door to the cabin still hung crooked, burned and scarred, but standing. She walked slowly to it, fingertips tracing the marks where plasma fire had struck. For a moment, she saw him there again, tired, human, kind, standing in the doorway with that half-smile. She whispered, "You should have stayed away, but you didn't." Her voice broke. And now, no one can close this door ever again. Weeks turned to months. The Varian Council changed. For the first time in history, humans were not listed as temporary colonists. They were called partners of the Alliance. Sereth herself ordered a memorial, a crystal monument in the middle of the colony square. At its center, two shapes intertwined, one human, one Varian, their hands joined, forming an unbroken loop of light. At the base, an inscription written in both languages read. He opened the door. She stepped through. And two worlds learned to breathe the same air. 1 year later, the colony thrived again. Children, human and Varian, played together beneath the glowing spires. And in the evenings, when the orange sun dipped behind the cliffs, some swore they could still see a faint golden shimmer across the sky, like a heartbeat made of light. Luriah lived among them quietly, helping rebuild, teaching both species how to live side by side. Her glow never fully faded, nor did the bond that linked her to him. Sometimes, she'd sit by the cabin door at night, looking up at the stars, whispering into the wind. "Evan Carter, I kept your promise." The stars always seemed to pulse in reply. But one evening, something strange happened. As she sat there, the air shimmered faintly, a familiar energy hum filled the silence. She stood, heart racing. No, it can't be. The communicator piece in her hand flickered, dead for months, now glowing faintly gold. And through the static came a voice, faint, broken, but unmistakably human. "Luriah, did we make it?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Evan," she whispered, her voice trembling. I don't know where I am. It's dark. Feels like, between stars. But I feel you." She clutched the glowing fragment against her chest. "You're alive," she cried. "Somehow, you're still alive." "Not alive. Not gone either." His voice faded, soft as breath. "Maybe I'm part of what you lit in me. Maybe I'm the echo in your pulse." She smiled through tears. "Then I'll never let the echo fade." The light in her hands pulsed once, twice, then faded into a soft warmth against her heart. She looked up at the stars again, her golden eyes reflecting their light. For the first time since that night, she didn't feel alone. Years later, children still told the story of the human who opened the forbidden door. They said he was foolish. They said he was brave. And they said, in whispers, that when the night was quiet enough, and the rain fell like silver on the roofs, you could still hear a gentle knock on old doors. A knock that didn't ask for fear, but for faith. And somewhere, across the galaxies, where light meets darkness, a quiet voice always answers. It was never about closing doors. It was about opening hearts.